Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to take up space in your mind, even when you wish they wouldn't? You move on with your life, get busy with new experiences, meet new people, and yet they linger, like a ghost from the past, resurfacing in quiet moments. Carl Jung believed that these recurring thoughts are not random. They are signals from the unconscious, urging us to look deeper. The human mind doesn't simply process information and discard what's unnecessary. It holds on to what is emotionally charged, what is unresolved, and what still carries meaning. Sometimes, against our will, when someone repeatedly appears in your thoughts, it might be a sign of a hidden psychological connection, something unfinished within the deeper layers of your psyche. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that we are all connected by an invisible network of shared experiences, symbols, and emotions that extend beyond the individual. Some people enter our lives and imprint themselves on this deeper part of us. Their presence in our thoughts isn't just a memory, it's a message. These recurring thoughts are often tied to emotions that haven't been fully processed. Love, regret, admiration, resentment. Whatever the emotion, if someone remains in your mind, it's because your unconscious is still holding on for a reason. The mind doesn't fixate on what's meaningless, it holds on to what needs to be acknowledged. Relationships, encounters, even fleeting moments that carry emotional intensity can leave a lasting imprint. The unconscious doesn't operate on time like the conscious mind does. It doesn't care if months or years have passed. If something remains unresolved, it stays active beneath the surface, quietly influencing thoughts and emotions. Have you ever heard a song that instantly transported you back to a moment, a person, a feeling? That's because the mind stores experiences in emotional clusters. A single trigger can bring it all rushing back. When someone stays in your thoughts, it might be because the emotional thread connecting you was never fully severed. But it goes deeper. Sometimes the person who lingers in your mind isn't just an individual. They represent something much larger. The unconscious mind speaks in symbols. It associates people with lessons, desires, and wounds from the past. The person you can't stop thinking about may be about them as much as what they symbolize. A deep longing, an unresolved pain, or a missing piece of your personal story. Jung believed these figures remain because they are tied to our growth. Until we understand the role they play in our unconscious, they resurface again and again. The real question becomes, what is your mind trying to tell you? What if the way you see them is actually a projection of something within yourself? Have you ever felt an overwhelming attraction or unexplained resentment towards someone without fully understanding why? Maybe you idealized someone, placing them on a pedestal, only to feel disappointed when they turned out to be just as flawed as anyone else. Or perhaps you met someone who triggered irritation for no clear reason, the emotions disproportionate to the situation. Jung believed these reactions are often not about the other person at all, but about you. They reflect hidden aspects of your own psyche, projected onto others like a movie screen. This is psychological projection, the unconscious act of attributing to others the traits, emotions, or conflicts we fail to recognize within ourselves. The psyche is made up of both the conscious self and the unconscious, which contains everything we repress, deny, or fail to integrate. When someone occupies your thoughts strongly, it's often because they mirror something unresolved within you. An unacknowledged fear, a hidden desire, a quality you struggle to see in yourself. For example, if you frequently think about someone who exudes confidence and charisma, it may be because deep down you long to develop those qualities. If you feel an irrational dislike for someone, it could be because they reflect a part of you that you have yet to accept. The more we deny these aspects of ourselves, the more power they have over us, and the more we project them onto others. Jung described the shadow as the hidden, often darker side of our personality, the emotions, desires, and impulses we suppress. We like to think we are fully self-aware, but much of who we are lies beneath the surface. When we encounter someone who resonates deeply, they may be activating part of our shadow. This is why certain people seem to haunt our thoughts. They represent something we need to integrate, something we are subconsciously trying to process. The mind doesn't fixate on random people. It fixates on those who serve as mirrors, whether we realize it or not. This isn't limited to individuals. The projection shapes our entire worldview. If we carry deep insecurities, we may assume others are judging us. If we struggle with self-worth, we may view others as superior. If we have unresolved wounds, we may project them onto present relationships, reliving old patterns. Understanding projection allows us to reclaim the parts of ourselves we've unknowingly given away. The people we obsess over, admire, or resent often reflect something within us. The key is to stop searching outward for answers and start looking inward. But what happens when these projections are tied to deep emotional bonds? When the attachment is not just psychological, but emotional, some people leave marks so deep they feel impossible to erase, even after time has passed. Their presence lingers like an unfinished sentence. Jung believed emotional connections become embedded in the unconscious, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and even our sense of identity. When an emotional bond remains unresolved, it quietly but powerfully influences us. Neuroscience offers a parallel explanation. Deep emotional attachments create neural pathways, associating that person with feelings of love, safety, or pain. These pathways don't simply vanish when a relationship ends. They remain active, lighting up with familiar triggers, a song, a scent, a fleeting memory. The deeper the bond, the stronger these neural connections, making it harder to let go. If the emotional experience is unresolved, it can create a loop in the unconscious. The mind revisits the past, searching for answers, closure, or understanding. Emotional bonds aren't just neurological, they are unconscious. When we refuse to confront certain feelings, they don't vanish. They become psychic residue, influencing us in ways we barely notice. Some people haunt us because, on some level, we are still emotionally engaged with them. Jung believed unresolved emotions act like unfinished psychological contracts. Until we acknowledge and process them, they continue to demand attention. Often we hold on, not because of the person themselves, but because of what they represent. A lost version of ourselves, an unfulfilled dream, a hope left behind. The attachment is not about them, but what they symbolize within us. Breaking free begins by recognizing our thoughts are often not about them, but about something deeper. What emotions remain unprocessed? What lessons unlearned? What parts of ourselves are still tied to that connection? Letting go isn't about forgetting, it's about integration. Fully feeling, processing, and accepting what was, so it no longer controls us from the shadows. And yet, just when we think we are moving on, the universe seems to send us signs. Coincidences that feel too meaningful to ignore. Are they just accidents, or is there something more? Sometimes, everything seems to align as if the universe is guiding us toward a person or a situation. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, the experience of meaningful coincidences that go beyond ordinary chance. It's the sense that threads of life are woven by forces we can't comprehend but deeply feel. Synchronicity isn't just random events lining up. It's the feeling something significant is unfolding before you. When reminders of someone bombard your world, or events seem perfectly timed, your unconscious might be signaling a deeper connection. These moments often arise during emotional intensity. When unresolved feelings surface, the universe seems to respond, nudging you towards something you have yet to understand. Jung believed synchronicity revealed an underlying order within the chaos of life. The people who occupy your thoughts may not be there by chance. They might represent profound elements of your personal journey. These coincidences aren't accidents but reflections of your inner world intersecting with outer reality. At times, these signs lead us to question whether there's something deeper beneath the surface. Maybe the person you can't stop thinking about isn't just a memory. Maybe they symbolize a piece of your psyche ready to be recognized or healed. The invisible thread connecting you to them carries meaning. Synchronicity serves as a reminder to pay attention, to look deeper, to trust there's a purpose in these mysterious connections. Sometimes, the people who stay in our minds evolve into something larger. They become archetypes, universal figures representing deeper parts of ourselves. No longer just people, they are symbolic representations of our desires, fears, or unresolved experiences. Jung described archetypes as primal images shaping how we perceive life and ourselves. When someone persists in your thoughts, they may be playing an archetypal role within your unconscious. Perhaps they are the mentor, the wise guide leading you through personal growth, or the lover, representing not just romance but a longing for connection. They could embody the warrior, the victim, the shadow, each playing a role in your story. When we idealize someone to the point they lose their humanity, becoming frozen in an archetype, we risk losing sight of their complexity. Disappointment often follows, because no one can live up to an idealized projection. The lesson is to recognize this pattern, embrace complexity, and understand these figures are vessels for our personal transformation. When we recognize someone as an archetype, we gain the power to transform our relationship with them, and with the part of ourselves they represent. The question becomes, what is it about this person that calls you to grow? How can you use this insight to move toward authenticity? When someone occupies your thoughts constantly, it can feel overwhelming, like your mind is trapped in a loop. But this isn't a sign of weakness. It's an invitation to explore deeper layers of yourself. Jung's concept of individuation, integrating all parts of the self, light and dark, offers a path forward. These persistent thoughts are often connected to neglected parts of the self, waiting to be acknowledged. Freeing yourself begins with self-awareness. Reflect on why this person occupies so much space in your mind. What feelings arise? What remains unresolved? Journaling, meditation, and deep self-inquiry can uncover these roots. Once you understand the cause, you can release the emotional charge. Emotional detachment doesn't mean forgetting. It means regaining inner peace. Mindfulness helps, observing thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass. With practice, space opens between you and your emotions. Healing and growth follow. The person may still hold a place in your heart, but no longer controls your mind. The people who stay in our thoughts aren't there by accident. They carry messages, lessons, and reflection of our deeper selves. By understanding the unconscious connections, projections, emotional bonds, and archetypes at play, we free ourselves from patterns that hold us back. Growth is a journey. Every experience, even the most challenging, offers an opportunity to become more whole.